Hello. Hey everyone, what is going on? Welcome. Welcome. Hey there. What do we have today? Today we've got works from 3 different people that we're going to be taking a look at, but let's see. I think in total 5. One person submitted 3 works. The other 2 did 1 each. 오랜만이에요. Yes, it has been a little while. What was the last live build? Last live build here would have been the RG Wing Zero, right? And then, but it has been even longer since the last Gunpla critique. I have been a very poor Patreon host to my wonderful Patreon supporters who have been waiting patiently without complaint, as this is meant to be a monthly live stream and it's been a few months, so sorry for that, but as always, of course, appreciate all of their support. Thank you guys all for being here. If you are not familiar with this series, as again it has been a few months, Gunpla Critique is a way for me to take a look at either works in progress or finished works of some of my Patreon supporters who wanted to submit some works for critique. And so, of course, it's a constructive critique where we're going to talk about, I'm going to talk about, you guys can chime in if you want, if you're watching live, in the comments there. But things that I like about the builds, things, areas that I think could be improved in different ways, or maybe just kind of share different ideas. You know, if it's a finished build, there's kind of not much that you can really change about a build at that point. But certainly things that you can take into mind and consider for future builds, things like that. Gunpla roast, again, like I've talked about before, I'm just not really sure if and when I'm ever going to do another Gunpla roast video. I don't think I'm the right person to do that. I think somebody else, it's better in someone else's hands. It's a good idea. Maybe someday when I don't know, maybe someday. Just not right now. But anyway, yes, I have been pretty busy, Joseph. I've been very busy with different projects and things, and then the holidays, of course. It's a very busy time, November, December, around here, and then now we're into January and it's still very busy, but in different ways, but it's good. I've got lots of kits in the queue to build. On that note, actually later on today, so this stream usually goes for around 45 minutes or so, maybe something like that. But then shortly after that, I will be live building over on the different channel, on the USA Gundam TV channel. I will be doing a live build over there, building the new Monument EX. So check that out. I probably won't finish it all in one sitting, as I think the first one took me about 5 hours in one live build. I'm not going to do that again. I'm going to split this up into 2. So the first half will be today, the second half will be tomorrow. Probably around 2.5, almost 3 hours each one. I'm not sure. We'll see. I've built it before, so it should be quicker the second time around, I bet, but still a lot of parts. I mean, it's still going to take a little while. So check out the live build of the Monument EX, aka the Tallgeese Flugel, over on the USA Gundam TV channel. Yeah, it's just like right after this. You can go over there. It'll be shortly after, 2 p.m. Eastern time. It's now almost 1 p.m. So yeah, pretty shortly after. Hello from Guam. There's a place called Donkey here that sells Gunpla. Is that like Donkey as in like Don Quixote, like the store in Japan, which sells like everything? Not sure if it's related. Never been to Guam though. I would like to visit at some point. When I lived in Korea, a lot of people in Korea visit Guam because it's like sort of a way to visit America in a sense, but you're kind of visiting like a Polynesian island, then kind of like, so it's like an island resort sort of destination. It's I guess it's closer than mainland America, but probably not by much. It's probably it's still pretty far from Korea. I think it's still like a 6 or 7 hour flight, which is shorter than like 12 hours, I guess. So, anyway, but I've never been. Anyway, let's get into it here for today's critique. So again, huge thank you to all of my Patreon supporters. We're going to be taking a look at the works from 3 different individuals today. Starting off with Edgar's work here. I do want to again refer to the notes on these. So this is he submitted 3 different works. 2 are finished, 1 is a work in progress. So we'll start off with this one, kind of the easiest one here, as it's mostly a repaint, as I can tell here, of an Origins Zaku kit, one of the Kokoro's Duan's Island one. Here, I think, let's see, basically a straight build, recolor. Only major modifications are adding the Hyper Bazooka and the spiked shoulder from the normal Zaku to Johnny Rid custom. Okay, yeah. So, mainly like your feedback on general build quality, but also how my photos are, trying to get better at presenting my work. Okay, yes, actually, interesting that you should ask for that particular feedback, Edgar, because as I was just kind of looking through these before getting started, one thing that I made a mental note to mention about was the photography, and I think the clarity of like seeing the kit is good. The only thing I would mention about the photography is there's a lot of empty space here on the outside. You can definitely like crop it a bit closer, and then like you could even like crop it vertically if you wanted even to get rid of even less on the side. I mean, it doesn't have to be like a perfectly like framed, but I mean, just as far as like the photos go, there is a lot of like negative space, and like especially if this was, depending on what you're wanting to use the photo for. I mean, you can certainly get a bit more stylistic with like kind of where you want the model kit to appear in the frame, sort of like the balance of the photo. Not suddenly drawing a blank on the word, not aesthetic, but anyway, it'll come to me in a second. English is hard sometimes. Anyway, but if it's like for a contest, we want like good, like clear, just simple centered photos. So you want to make sure it's like in the center. It's like maybe slightly off center in some of these photos. It's not like a big thing that you're gonna like take off points for in a contest. But if you're wanting to focus more on the presentation, I mean, just cropped slightly would be good. Kind of make sure it's like right there in the center, kind of thing, something like that. So that's the thing. Otherwise, the lighting and like the clarity of the photos and everything, I think like looks pretty good. So I think that's fine. And like the background's good. Like on like this photo in particular, on like this one, like it's a bit like dark, kind of around the face, and like again, kind of depending on how you want to present it. Normally, you want to like make sure that this, especially like the head and torso area, is usually like a kind of focal point of attention. You want to make sure that the lighting's good. You can also touch that up and post a bit, just kind of touch up that area, just brighten it up a little bit. With just some simple editing afterwards. As far as the build itself, I mean, it looks very clean. I like the colors. I can't tell if it's exactly a metallic red or if it's just the top coat. It looks like it maybe is a bit of a metallic red, a mix of metallic reds, either that or it's just like a semi-gloss top coat that's kind of giving that appearance. Very minimal on the decals. I think a couple of decals here, I mean, like, fine to go minimal on the decals. I think a couple more could have been nice, because if you're going to have a couple, then you might as well like add a few more. I'm usually of the mind where like if you're going to have like none, then just do none. If you're going to have some, then you need to have like kind of like a minimal amount, like a few here and there. This is kind of like in between those two for me, where like you've got a few for like the main markings, and then if you wanted to keep it to the main markings, I think that's kind of like a way to do it as well. Then you also have this one on the bazooka, so I think like a few more decals would have been nice, in like a couple spots, just especially like on the legs. There's a lot of like red there, and you have the different shades of red, I think, which do look really nice, but a couple of decals I think would have looked nice on there. as well. But I do really like the 3 different shades of red. It's kind of very similar to like what we see a lot on like on the Sazabi, but a little bit different here with like the darker maroon shade. You have like the main color red, and then this kind of like lighter shade. And I think the placement of the different colors is also really good. I do like where the different colors are placed. I think that's nice. Like the black sections are good too. I'm gonna assume that that's not pure black and that it's like German gray or something. It's pretty dark, but I think it works for this. Like it's something I've talked about many times about like not recommending using pure black, but it kind of works only for like more like stylistic things. And for this one, I mean, because you're going for like a super clean kind of look, it's not necessarily like realistic. It's like when you're wanting a realistic look, then using pure black is usually not recommended. But for something like this, because it's like very clean, it's got that like semi-gloss finish to it, it's obviously not going for like the most like realistic finish of like a small scale version of a 18-meter mobile suit, in which case black or very close to black, it looks like in this case, can work pretty well. I'm not certain looking at that. The different angles are making me question whether that's pure black or not. But either way, I think it works in this case. This is an example of, if it is pure black, it's an example of how it can work depending on the build. It looks like, I can't tell if that's maybe on this back fin right there. That's a little bit of like a little divot from maybe like a nub or a sink or something there in that part of the plastic that maybe could have been filled in with a little bit of putty or just like a drop of super glue. Works good for little stuff like that. Otherwise though, yeah, it does look very clean. Just trying to look, see if there's anything else really that I'm noticing. It's kind of hard to tell if the lines on the top of the bazooka here, it looks like maybe this was like sanded to remove the seam line there, and it looks like these couple of lines could have been rescribed a bit just to clean those back up a bit after the sanding of the seam line removal. It's kind of hard to tell. I think that's what it looks like there. Just trying to check like other photos. Yeah, I could be wrong. Could just be like the angle and the lighting of the photos just kind of like messing with me. It looks like maybe that line could use, those lines could use a bit of rescribing maybe. Not entirely sure. Otherwise, no, I think it does look good. The other thing, and this is just kind of a subjective thing, it would have been cool to like sharpen the points of the spikes to make them more pointed. That's pretty easy to do. Actually, I've showed how to do that in videos before. There's a couple of different ways to go about it. One way would be just to simply file these conical shapes more until they're pointed. That would be a reductive way to make them pointed. Another way would be to cut off the tip and then glue a piece of runner. Usually people will just cut just a small little bit of runner and just glue it onto there. Obviously wait for the glue to dry and then file it down. That way you're not losing any of the conical shape. It's still staying the same size, because otherwise if you're just filing down the shape, you're going to ultimately make it slightly smaller. If you want to keep the same size, yeah, cut the tip, glue a piece on, then file that down to a point, and then you can keep the same size and make it a sharper point. Something to think about. And yeah, I've shown that before, and I'll actually be showing that again in a video coming up pretty soon. Actually, I was planning on showing that how to do that again as a kind of tip for the G-Quax Zaku. So I built the HG G-Quax Zaku, and I plan on doing like a little bit extra work on that for the review, and that was one of the things I was going to show in the review for that kit. So if you've not seen me do that in a video before, you will see it in the G-Quax Zaku review video coming up. Okay, I think flattened spikes are cool too. Yes, yeah, that's another thing that you can do. You can either just omit the spikes and just replace them with like a little like detail piece or like a photo etch part or something. People do that a lot too. I like the look of that as well. or you can make them like more rounded, like more blunt, like shorter and more rounded, or something like that. There's different things that you could do. So very cool. All right, next one is going to be this I was going to say Jagen, right? But it's Jagen with the Jesta legs, kind of a kitbash. Here, so let me read his notes on this one, and we'll go. The ECOAS Jagen Jesta kitbash. Shared this build before, but it's finally painted. Yeah, I was going to say, I think we saw this before, right? Painted, decaled, and panalined. I'm about to start weathering it, but I'd like some feedback if I should clean up anything or change anything before I start weathering. I'd also like your recommendation on how to go about weathering. I defiantly want to keep it subtle. I think it means definitely wants to keep it subtle. My current plan is to do a gray-brown enamel wash and some light chipping just on some edges. A couple of other things in the build. Shark pattern was painted by cutting out pattern from masking tape. You guys can't see that. Hang on. That would be this. Here's a better photo. Shark pattern there on the shield. There, you guys can see that. So that was done with the masking tape, a mask cut out from masking tape. I think I had to paint it, strip it, and repaint it like 4 times to get it right. Yeah, that's a lot of times. I might have given up before the 4th time, but I've had to do that, but not that many times. I also thought this would be a good build to have a small diorama, like maybe walking around a destroyed building. I've never done diorama work. I don't even know where to begin. Okay, so yeah, some thoughts on that. So basically, we're wanting to kind of look at what's here already and then talk about how to go about weathering it, and then the idea of adding it to a diorama. So I would suggest, as far as the diorama goes, like look at what I did with the Zaku here. Got it right here. The Requiem for Vengeance Zaku. Let me, which is, I don't, in my work in progress for this, I think I did do a couple of work in progress videos on this build, so you can go back and refer to those. I'm working on the Gundam of this series, basically doing a very similar, so they're meant to be like a pair of dioramas that are done in a very similar way. So the Gundam is not done yet, but basically the kit is in a very similar state as to what Edgar's got here for this one, so it would actually be very kind of apt timing to kind of work on those together. Edgar, so I think Edgar's not watching live here, but you can get with me later when you see this to talk to me about it, because we're basically at like the very similar state in terms of making it into a diorama featuring just like a very simple small diorama with like the main kit and like kind of a destroyed building, something like that, like what he's talking about. So yeah, mine is painted and it needs weathering and the diorama needs finishing. So yeah, I think that would be a great idea for something like this. I think as far as the kit as we're seeing it now and weathering on it, I think one thing in particular that the weathering is for sure going to do, and this is something to think about if it's something that you want to do or not, I think like, so you've got these really bright orange accents on there, which I think look really cool in like a stylistic way. Weathering, depending on what you're doing with the weathering, but one thing that weathering can certainly do is like tone those way down. And maybe that is something that you want to do, and something that like a wash or a filter layer will definitely do for you. And then obviously like top coat as well, like if you were for like a more matte top coat other than like this kind of like gloss, semi-gloss that it's got on it at the moment, that will definitely like tone the color down a notch as well too. So yeah, rain streaks with the oil wash, as Joseph mentioned in the chat, that would be good too. I mean, especially if you're thinking about adding it into a diorama in like a city scene. Yeah, I mean, like that's basically setting the scene for how you want to go about your weathering. So I mean, like if it were, you have to imagine like the environment, if it was going to be in like a desert environment, then you have to think about the weathering in a little bit different way. A space environment, the weathering's different. On the ground, in like a jungle, kind of like where it's going through dirt and mud and water, a lot. It's going to be different. In a city, yeah, you're going to want to focus more, less on like a bunch of like dirt and grime necessarily, as just like kind of general kind of dust and just like smoke, maybe from like battle, fires that are happening, and like dust from exploded buildings and things, whatever might be going on like around the mobile suit. So you have to think about that. And so yeah, I would keep the weathering like pretty minimal, which sounds like it's based on his notes on this, seems like that's the plan, to keep it pretty minimal, but definitely a wash on it. The color wash, you can get these. So these are what I usually use for that, the Mr. Weathering color bottles. It's basically just thinned enamel, so I mean any enamel paint's gonna work. Tamiya enamel is what I also will just use. But yeah, something like this would work really well, and like either one of these color, like this is light grayish, or this one is grayish brown, something like that. Darker colors, like the ground brown, is the color that I use a lot for like weathering, just like simple weathering and filtering, kind of just because it's dark and kind of really, I don't know a better way to describe it other than like it really breathes life into the piece, I feel like. So that will work really well. But what you might want to do, I mean, is just kind of have it targeted, and maybe you could go over it in a couple of layers, like maybe with the ground brown or like a darker color, which can help simulate kind of oil and dust. Maybe use that, targeted around certain areas, like around the joints, like the knee joints, like I don't know, maybe like under the armpit, like areas where like oil would maybe be leaking and things like that, and where kind of or dirt and grime might gather, but it wouldn't be a whole lot. I mean, thinking about it realistically in like a city battle scene. So add a little bit of that, seal that in, then going with like a lighter color kind of over more areas of it, and then even with something maybe like white, like a white filter, or like a white or like a light gray kind of color, again for like water, oil, like not oil, water, rain sort of pooling, and like dust pooling around like the top areas, like the top of the shoulders, anywhere where water would sit and or like drip down. So yeah, think about stuff like that. Maybe like looking at reference images of like tanks in like urban combat. Edgar's just getting here. You missed the first part, but yeah, we talked about your Zaku. We're talking about the weathering on this. Go back and kind of rewatch the last few minutes commentary later on. But yeah, I think looking at tank reference images of urban combat, but using I think a couple different colors for your filtering on this, and then yeah, just some very light, very deliberate like chipping around some different areas can be good. Just areas that make sense around like the feet, the knees, maybe the arms, shoulders. I mean, that sounds like kind of everything, but I mean, like, again, thinking about it realistically, where would it actually be likely to have bumped into things or scratched up against things? And then as far as like any like physical like battle damage or something like that, I mean, that could also be something kind of cool to add, especially with the shark mouth on the shield. You want that to kind of be like, it's definitely like a bit of a focal point, having like a couple of bullet holes and like spaced out. People will do like, you'll see a build where it'll be like 1, 2, 3, like all right in a row there within like, this is an HD kit, so within like an inch, like pop like that. It's too close together. I think having them more kind of spread out, because you don't want it to be like the main point, but just sort of like a small accent to the shield generally, where you might have like a bullet ricochet kind of bit like right here, and then like another one like up here or something, or even like on top of the decal is good, because like now that you've got all your decals on there, weathering either by physically damaging the decal, like actually like scratching off of it a bit or sanding off a bit of the decal, could be good, or just to the side or something. I mean, depending on how you want to do that, but something like that could also be good, especially if you're wanting to show it being like slightly weathered, you know, assuming that it's in like urban combat and having used the shield as it's meant to be used, and to block bullet fire. I mean, having maybe like a couple of bullet impact or ricochet points like there on the shield, I think could be kind of cool. So yeah, that hopefully that gives you some good ideas about how to go about the weathering. As far as just like the build generally, I think it is really cool. I think the shark mouth on the shield came out really cool. The orange as a really bright accent point came out good, especially with that, especially on the feet and on the shield, having that kind of two-tone orange, the kind of large block like splinter pattern. Okay, it is there on the forearm as well. And is it on the chest? Okay, here it is. With it holding the gun there, I was gonna say it's kind of hard. But yeah, no, it's there on the chest. So all the orange sections, it looks like, have that two-tone orange, and I do think that looks really nice. So no, I think in terms of like the kit bashing and everything flowing together well, I think it works. So I think it's a really good base to start on now doing some weathering on. The weathering will certainly change the look of it. And like I said before, this works just, I mean, if you didn't do anything else to it, it works really well as just kind of more stylistic piece. But I think weathering will change the look of it, and it'll look really good weathered as well. But it will certainly like dial down the brightness of the orange a lot, which can look cool. So you've kind of got two good options here, whether you want to keep it as is or go or weather, and I think that'll change the look of it, but it'll look cool either way. So yeah. Okay, so then the third one here is this 00 Quanta custom build. Let me check the notes on this one. So an MG type Astria Type Q. So as we can see here from this work in progress image, it's a kit bash of the Astria and the Quanta, and I think this is one that you also shared ideas for in a past Gunpla critique, I believe, right? Let's check the notes here. Yeah, he said, I've also shared this build before, but wanted to share recent progress and your overall opinion on the build progress and if the asymmetry works. Progress includes modifying the Quanta sword so it doesn't have the gun parts. It looks more like a giant two-handed claymore sword. Let's see that here. That's this one here. Okay, yeah, that is cool. I do really like especially the large cross bits there on the side, which I'm assuming are still meant to be like functional beam saber handles, which is kind of cool. The thought that like I'm not sure if I've ever seen that before, but it's a really cool idea. I like the cross bits, which are like I don't know exactly what they're called. Like they're meant to just like kind of guard the hands there at the base of the sword, but that the thought that those can also be then pulled off and used as beam sabers is pretty cool. Adding the GN boosters from the Kyrios. I already added the butt boosters from the Dynamis. I added the Kyrios ones to get a sense of speed. Yes, so you can see it's kind of like doubled up on those. So it's got the Dynamis butt boosters here, and then these parts from the Kyrios also added onto there, so to kind of give it even more junk in the trunk, as it were. I like it. I think it looks good. I think it looks really cool. It works. It doesn't look like it doesn't look unnatural or like it doesn't fit. I think it looks good, especially seeing it like all in primer certainly helps as well. I'm sure it might have looked odd unprimed, but there's not a photo of it here. Anyway, looks like the knees are also built up a bit. I like what's going on with the knees, actually. Yeah, having bulked those up a bit does look nice. Let's see what else. Added the missile pods from the Dynamis to the chest and knee armor. Okay, so that's what that is. Yeah, Dynamis on the chest. Ah, right. Yeah, those bits here. That's from the Dynamis skirt armor, isn't it? And then you've added that to the chest. I like that. And I like the asymmetry. I wonder how it would look symmetrical. But I mean, you've got the asymmetry going on with the knees, and so having it with the chest there as well, I suppose that works. And then obviously with the shoulder, kind of over the shoulder part there, and the shoulders themselves are also asymmetrical. So yeah, I mean, stick with the asymmetry of it, but I think that does pretty nice. I'm trying to see, is this oh, okay, that's what that is. I was wondering if what was going on with they pop out to the side. I was looking at this thinking that, is that just like a modified bit that's just needs to be sanded more, or okay, I forgot that that's what those knee parts do. Maybe they pop out like that. I think it's looking great. I think it's looking really good. I think last time you were also asking about ideas for the color scheme. I'm guessing that this is maybe what you're going for the color scheme of it, which I think looks nice. I feel like it's missing something.
Stupid question for you.
Yeah.
What are they applying the decals to?
I've got just a bunch of spare parts I was planning to use.
All right. My wife actually asked that. I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, I thought about that too. All right. Yes, as far as the color scheme, yeah, I feel like it's missing something. I feel like it's kind of either like with the Astrea, it's very like mostly white. So I feel like this you could either do with a little bit less blue or with like a little bit more I'm not sure of something. Kind of either needs to go like a little bit one way or the other, I feel like. But I mean, it all kind of fits with the asymmetry. Maybe getting rid of the blue on the arm, on like the forearm here, the side of the forearm and the side of the hand. I mean, I know that it's asymmetrical, and the point is to kind of emphasize these points, these parts that are asymmetrical. But I think if the goal is to look like, if the goal is for the mobile suit to look like a mobile suit that was built from like parts of different mobile suits that were put together, then you could emphasize that by making it a different shade of blue or just a different color altogether. Because then if your goal is to show it as like a kind of a Frankenstein mobile suit that's maybe built by, you know, whatever, just some guys, and not by like this isn't like out of the factory like this. In that case, having it be different colors would help emphasize that. But if the point is not that, it's just to make it look like this is just a, you know, another version of the Stray that's, you know, out of the factory like this, and it just has asymmetrical, you know, aspects of the design, then maybe you don't need necessarily that blue on the arm and the forearm there, I don't think. No, I think that would keep it maybe a bit more balanced in terms of the amount of colors there. There's another option, the top with more white. Oh, okay, I think there was two different. Oh, this one's different. Okay, I didn't realize that those are actually different. Yeah, I thought I just put two of the same photo there. Okay, so yeah, there's this one with more white. Yeah, I'm not sure. Kind of which way to go with that. What do you guys think? You let us know there in the chat. Let Edgar know. More white or more blue? What do you guys think? I mean, it's tough. I like both. I like both kind of equally, but both I feel like it needs to be tweaked. Like this, I like it, but I feel like I need to tweak something. And this, I like it too, but I feel like I need to tweak something. And I'm not exactly sure kind of exactly what. But again, it kind of depends on how exactly you want to portray it. So yeah, something to think about. I'm not really sure though. Sorry, I can't lend any other further ideas on that one, as I'm also a bit stumped on that. So I would look at some more reference images, some more like some more Twitter scrolling just to kind of get some more ideas on that maybe. I think either one of these color schemes will look good. And so you kind of can't really go wrong with either one of these, you know, whether you just go like exactly like this or tweak some bits. So it's kind of like you'll be fine either way, whatever changes are possibly made. But I think it looks good. So yeah. And then because this is a master grade, just going back to the previous two builds, like with both the Jagen Jesta and the Zaku, we saw pretty minimal decals. Wondering what the plan is for the decals for this. I think going with a little bit more decals, I mean, like not like loading it up, but having some more will definitely look cool on there as well. That could be maybe like that extra spice that's missing from the color scheme. Maybe using like some decals that use like orange could be kind of cool. It's not something we typically see with 00 kits, but it could work. You know, decals that are like gray and orange or white and orange, something like that. Obviously the white and orange ones you can't use on the white parts, so you'd have to use both, like white and orange to use on the colored parts and then gray and orange to use on the white parts. That could be nice. I don't know. That's something to think about. Maybe like the actual like colors of the decals. Having a bit more of those, I think will look good. Okay. So, all right. So anyway, thanks, Edgar. I hope that helps. I'm glad that you were able to come in to catch a little bit of that, some more live, but go back and check out earlier parts of that. For now, we're going to go on to, I think this was Marines here. Custom build of not the HT, but actually the non-grade G Gundam with a Kotobukiya sword and a random base. Swapped out the hands. What is that? Swapped out the hands for some Bandai option hands and drilled out the flat thrusters on the backpack. No major mods. The paint job was inspired by the Lego Cole's Titan Dragon mech, which you guys can see here. It's from Lego Ninjago, I believe, right? I think that's a Ninjago thing, I believe. Don't worry if you don't recognize the script on the base. It's Ninjargon, the Ninjago alphabet. Ninjargon? Okay, I get it. Gotcha. At first glance, I thought it was like meant to be Japanese. I hadn't looked at it more closely until you just mentioned that. But okay, I see. Ninjargon. Does it actually say something? I wonder what it actually says. But you can let us know. But yeah, that'd be hand painted. It looks, I believe, the entire kit is all hand painted. Because as you can see, you went for like that kind of animation style, like cell shading coloring on this, which is most noticeable in the yellow sections. I think it would have been nice to see that on like the black sections and the white section, like kind of everywhere else as well. I guess maybe the point of that would be to show those parts as gold, and so they're kind of like the more shiny parts. But I think would have been cool to see that effect even on like these black parts here as well, like to have, you know, that lighter accent here on the shoulder and kind of some more of that. So I think that effect could have been pushed even further. Like I said, I think the reason why it's limited to only the yellow sections is just meant to show shiny gold compared to the rest of it not being like, not meant to look shiny and gold. Yeah, and kind of just like referring to the source material here for that. but just still, just like in just like, I really like this just for how unique it is, just kind of in concept. I mean, it's such an odd color scheme, but I think it works well here on the Gundam. I mean, the paint could definitely be cleaner in like the lining. I mean, like the lining is meant to have that sort of like cell shaded, like hand drawn animation kind of style to it. So it's not necessarily meant to be like perfectly perfect, but I think it could be just like, you know, a little bit cleaner in certain areas, of course, and then just like the paint texture as well. Oops, you can see, and again, I know it is hand painted, but I don't know what this. I'm guessing that's maybe just his kind of symbol there. Oh, 5. Yeah. I think it's because this is 5th build, if I remember correctly. Marine. Oh yeah, he's here in the chat. It's meant to be non-metal metal, right? Numbers, Marine, you number your builds, right? So this would be like 05. I think that's right? That's what that's referring to. But no, I think it's a cool concept. I like it. I mean, like, could even like the Ninjargon script, could it have that could also have been cleaner? I mean, if you like really wanted to make it look like you know, like really professional, there's ways to basically like I've talked about this before, and one thing that a lot of people do is they'll have like a custom stamp printed for making the little relief on there. Something that I learned from Win I'm Wong, and I mean that could have worked or something like that. But I think just due to like the nature of the build generally, I think that the writing on there works. 5th fully painted model. Yep. Okay. Yeah, so I like it. Let me see. Just go back to email. Just making sure there was no other notes I missed in the email, but I think that was it. Yeah, otherwise, I think it looks good. Other than what I mentioned before. I mean, I think it's just a matter of practicing, getting that right balance between like of it. It's supposed to look hand drawn, but then also like you don't want it to look too messy. Not that this looks like too messy. I think it's like really close. I think it's just a matter of just like practicing getting that right balance there for that. So I think it looks good. It's cool. A little bit more like color separation on the base too might have been cool. I think it looks like there's like a couple different shades of gray, a lighter gray and a medium gray. I think some of these other details painted in like different colors could have been nice as well, but I think that wasn't really the focus. So I mean, that's just an idea, but I think with the focus being on the kit itself, I think it's kind of cool like that. I'm guessing the pose is maybe also sort of a reference to something to it, or it's just that I think probably with that 144 scale kit, you were probably limited in terms of its posability, but the pose is kind of cool there with the swords. So yes, I like it. Thank you for sharing. Alrighty. Let's see. He said if I had more time for this, I maybe would have added proper cell shading, but I limited it to lines and metal, non-metal and metal. Yeah, fair enough. Okay. All right, then third and lastly for today is from Mafuyu. We have a bunch of work in progress photos here on the Devil Gundam that he's working on. Let me go back to the email here. Currently working on updating the old 144 scale Devil Gundam. Also plan to expose the pilot from the spine, similar to the show. Have closed some gaps, added new joints, and extended the upper legs by 1 millimeter, and the width of the lower arms by 1 millimeter, as well as adding new resin head and hands that I also modified to fit the model as they were meant for a statue. Okay, so let's just kind of look through some of these work in progress images here. We'll kind of see. what's going on. I think there's some more text. There was some more, isn't it? Cool connections. Okay, I think that's about it. Actually, in terms of the text, I could be wrong, but we'll see here. We can just, there's a lot to see. It's fine. He's apologizing for the picture span. No, there's a lot of pictures, but it's fine. It just gives us more kind of reference to see kind of what's going on with this. I just wanted to make sure that there was no other further like commentary on it in the emails that I was missing before I started talking about it. So this is for the legs. So he's talking about like doing the modification to the legs, making the legs, I think, taller and wider, just larger, kind of generally. So adding that layer of plot plate there in the middle. Here you can see on the side. Is this panel line scribed there? I'm guessing this is the panel line scribed around the side of that, kind of dips down around that circular detail on the front. It's kind of cool. I'm curious to know what the plan is. I mean, other than just like major modifications, or major or minor, whatever, modifications to the scale, like the size of things, if there's plans to modify more of the just details as well, like adding more details and stuff like that. I think this is meant to be for like the core section there, maybe with putty to make it look like kind of all the hoses, tubes and stuff at the core. Just some rescribing because it was shallow. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I would also recommend later too, at some point, scribing along this line here, just to kind of define. So any of the details on there, other than just like shallow panel lines, I'm sure all the details are just going to be kind of a little weak, and so just kind of helping to kind of redefine a lot of the existing details will also look good. So this, I think, is the core section there, and then with all the kind of hoses and stuff added onto that. Reshaping the hair parts here, it looks like, using, as we saw in that first image, or what was it, this one? Using the Kotobukiya Zambanoid kit. There is that what's being used as the base body for like the pilot body inside there. It looks like from this, that's a different torso, or does it come with this torso like that? That could be. It probably does. But then making the hair look a bit more like Rain's hair, I'm guessing is the plan there with that. So that's looking pretty good. Obviously, still a work in progress. I mean, you can tell that it still needs some more sanding and shaping on that. But that's looking good. So it's going to be in here like this at the front. You can kind of get a sense of how that's looking. And here you can see the 3D printed hands and head parts that he's got for it as well. Here's a comparison to show the increased articulation, or just kind of the articulation separation of those parts, because that's all, if I remember correctly, that's all one part with the original kit, right? This whole section is just like one chunk. So we cut that and separated it. Looks like, right? That, well, one's the left side, one's the right side. Just for reference, with why they look backwards, right? Here you can see it from the outside. So yeah, that knee joint there. Just one solid part. Yeah. So split that up. And here you can see it from the front. It looks good. I mean, I'm curious as to, as far as like widening that part of the lower leg. I mean, it's just to make it a bit more bulky. Is that the goal? I don't know if there was any other particular reason to that. I mean, because it's a small amount to widen. So usually, usually people will only widen like a small amount like that if it's like part of like it's out of necessity for like adding the knee joint. If maybe like kind of the knee joint just didn't really fit in the parts, so you needed to like make the lower part a little wider in order to get the knee joint in there how you wanted it to fit. Or if people that are like really crazy about like very very specific about their proportions. You know, like even though it's a small change, but like I gotta have that. Otherwise, I feel like other people would go for like a more dramatic change by like widening this by 2 or 3 millimeters instead of just 1. Let's see. He said mainly just to make it more accurate. I thought it was a bit too slim. Okay, yeah, it's definitely a little slim. The original part, it definitely looks slim there. It's a bit wider. I mean, you could even go wider than that if you wanted to. But I mean, maybe that's then too wide. It just kind of depends on what's the vision for it. But the new hand part looks cool. That looks nice. I mean, like way better than that, of course. But this does come with open hands or some other different hands as well, doesn't it? Other than the holding hands. I don't remember this even coming with holding hands at all. I built this kit, but I don't remember what the hands look like on it. The V-fin parts here, right? Is there anything changed about that? I don't think so. I mean, one definitely looks longer, but I don't think it's modified. It's just the angle of the photo. Only the polycap holding hands. Oof, man, that's no good. Yeah. Okay. And the 3D printed head here. So it looks like there's 2 different versions, one with the open mouth and then one with just the closed up face like that. So that looks cool. Obviously, going to be much more detailed. Oh, the V-fins are filled in with resin. Oh, it's just clear resin probably, right? So that's why I can't tell. But just to make them solid so they don't have a hollow space in the back. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, the new head will look nice. It'll be much more detailed. Of course. It's being the shoulder parts here. So we're moving the seam lines in the shoulders there, it looks like. That's the bottom of the thigh, essentially. Here, it's cutting apart and separating the knees. Adding this joint here for the foot, looks like. Let's see. This is in the forearm. Okay, changing the elbow joints in the forearm. Adding this kind of ball joint. Well, the ball joint's just kind of there at the end of that part, isn't it? I think it's mostly just adding this joint here for the elbow. I'm curious to see how that looks like actually on the part though when it's all closed up though. This is what part even is that of the build? Is that the upper arm? Oh no, it's the it's down here, like the Gundam face, the crotch section, basically. Right, that part there. Right. So just closing the seam on that. This one would be the chin part there for that, then I guess, right? This part here. So adding that plot plate, basically here, so that there's not that empty gap. So, I mean, a lot of work. It's a difficult kit. This is the knee joint that's being built into the, or like the hip and knee joint that are being built into the leg there. So I mean, yeah, it looks like there's a lot of work going into it for sure. And without being able to like see anything like put together yet, it's hard to say like kind of like how it's looking as like a like how the progress is looking. Like you can't visualize the finished piece, but I mean, as far as just modifications go, I mean, having built the kit a while back, I don't remember it that well, but I mean, it looks like all modifications that will certainly work well to just make it improve the look of it and just kind of make it look better for sure than how it did. But yeah, I mean, the one thing I would say is just don't forget to just kind of redefine or add a bit more definition around what existing details are there on some of those parts, especially because like with the new hand and head parts, those are going to look really nice and very detailed, but the rest of the kit is still not very detailed. So they're going to look maybe a little bit out of place if like the details on everything else is not like pretty well defined, like kind of to match. You don't have to like necessarily add more details. I think that might be a good idea in certain areas where it makes sense to. So maybe look into like adding details and bits like this, like here on the shoulder, or even just like little scribing, like notch details or something here. Just things like that, just to make it so that then later when it's all put together, you don't have some parts like the head and the hands, they're going to be sticking out. It's like much more detailed than everything else. it might look a bit unnatural. But I mean, just looking at these seam lines on here, I mean, like, oof, it's giving me nightmares. Just looking at that. So it's certainly going to be a lot more work on that. I imagine we're going to see this maybe come along more in the next couple months, but it does look like it's going to be a cool project. And I'm anxious to see like how the figure is going to fit there at the front, because it looks like how it's kind of mocked up here that she's going to be kind of like out in front. I don't know if you have a reference image. Let me just see what I can find on Google, because I don't remember exactly. I'm guessing that that's like how it looked at one point in the anime, but I don't remember exactly what that looked like with Rain kind of amongst it, or like the tubes or whatever out in front like that. I'm just looking for a reference image that shows that scene. So I kind of get how it's supposed to look, but I think out in front of the torso like that, it's going to be a bit odd. I'm not sure, so I'm trying to see if I can't find a reference image. Mafi, if you've got one, send it along and I'll take a look at it in the Discord. But barring that, yeah, it's coming along nicely. Okay, so I'm gonna close that, and yeah, it's a bit different shown. Yeah, because I remember like in the chest, like in the anime, that like the chest opens up and then like she's in there, kind of like whatever, looking like kind of green, whatever, right? Green gray sort of. I think that'll be cool. It's hard to just visualize how it's gonna look at the moment based on that. So looking forward to seeing more on that in future critiques. But for now, guys, that's it for today's video. For this episode of Gunpla Critique. Again, apologies to my wonderful Patreon supporters, as it has been a few months. This is meant to be monthly, so we'll try to have another episode in February. But again, yeah, if any of you guys are interested in joining up, one other benefit, I suppose, if you consider it a benefit of joining on Patreon, is getting access to our Discord server. I think it's pretty good. I'm not on there as much as other people, but there's other people that are in there a whole lot. I can see the photo here. Yeah. So the image of Rain inside the Devil Gundam there, something like that. Right. Anyway, yeah, you can get in on the Discord server, and yeah, you can also submit works for future Gunpla Critique videos. But as for now, I'm going to basically reset up over here next door on the building area, and I'm going to start working on the Monument EX kit. So if you guys want to watch the live build of the Monument EX, switch over to the USA Gundam TV YouTube channel. That's where I'm going to be live building that. The first part of it today, anyway, I'm not going to finish. I'll go over about like the first half of the build and then finish it tomorrow. So it's going to be a two-part live build of Monument EX. So check that out. But again, thanks to everybody for checking out the critique here today. And if you want to check out being a Patreon supporter, you can find a link down below. So thanks so much, guys, and I'll see you next time.